just come and sat over on a bench for a bit, get a bit of sun, and I've been to the shop. Look at that. So if anyone does come to England, there's other places than London. I just wanted to talk a little bit. I mean, I've done it outside of the room because there is somebody who constantly listens in the room. And obviously they're always trying to attach things to you and try and affect how you speak and stuff. But the interesting thing, I was in dream state the other night, and I woke up with a big lump under my nose, and I'm really heavy energy. And obviously, as the unions, if that's what's happening, start to happen, then your energy starts to merge in the 5D. And obviously, I'm assuming that whoever my counterpart is has some sort of addiction, because it sort of appears that they're trying to use my vessel for them to heal. The challenge they have is they don't drink any water. They're still doing what they're doing. So I don't really know whether or not it has been divinely allowed, or whether someone's forced their way into my energy. That I don't know, and I think that someone's probably forced their way into my energy, knowing that obviously I've got healing, but the fact is my healing has been cut off from everyone now, because that's the way they treated me. So the answer was no, and I was removed. So obviously the battle is between them and the powers of the spiritual realm, purely because when I was removed, you don't then go and hunt someone down and then go against spiritual law and force your way into someone's energy. That's not how it works, especially if you've not done any of the healing and you're not going to be going forward, because you can't be part of moving forward if you're not prepared to heal and be part of your divine contract. So I just find it a bit strange, because there was like a lump in the rest. Now the other part to that is, are they trying to use that as are they trying to force it, because loads of people doing stuff the other night, and if they're trying to do that because they're trying to keep trying to lower my vibration, to try to do all sorts of stuff. And obviously if they're trying to sort of say I've got all sorts of things going on, which I don't. I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I never take that. I've never done any of that stuff anyway. Even when I was a clubber, I never. So it's just interesting. But I had this big lump under my nose, and it just felt, and a very groggy head, and it just felt like someone was forcing their way into my energy to try and project their addictions basically onto me. Obviously I rejected it and I returned it back to sender, but that's not the point though, is it? And this is the thing for me, the level of abuse spiritually, the level of people abusing spiritual law and just bypassing people's free will is shocking, and it does need to change. It really does, because no one should be allowed to violate someone's auric field or force them into a lower vibration so they can do all sorts of things. And I do hope and I pray that will change going forward. So I've done it out here because obviously they listen to everything in there, and I don't have 5 minutes peace. I tried to upload on the YouTube channel and 3 times it wouldn't upload. So I watched 3 people come into my internet, and it keeps coming on red. So they keep knocking my internet off as well. So obviously, all I can say is that my blessing is obviously on its way, isn't it? Because no one would go to these extreme lengths to prove someone wrong. Because basically, if they believe what they say is true, you'd leave me alone and let me just get on with it. And then you wouldn't have had to, then nothing would have become on the radar, would it? That's the part I don't understand, is that somebody jumped in with an ego, owned my story where there was no names, stole all my projects, which obviously now they've got some issues, and by taking the story and owning it, they actually confirmed the truth. And now doing all this silly stuff with the computer and blocking me from working and living and trying to drain me financially, well that's just against human rights, isn't it? You can't do that. So we're not definitely dealing with somebody that's human. I don't believe so anyway. I think they sold their soul a long time ago, and maybe they just want mine, I don't know, but obviously they're not going to get it because God said no. The ancestors said no. Not this time. This rodeo's finished. The cycle's closed. They're doing it their way this time. They're doing it the way that it should have always been done. And if the divine masculines want to stay karmic, that's their choice. That's absolutely their choice. But what they don't get to have is the divine abundance that comes with it. And their karmics don't get to take the benefit of my energy. And they don't get to abuse and bully me to try and get my energy and try and keep me out of my life. That's not how it works. So I surrendered it anyway, and hopefully they'll do something about it. Now, I could go to the police, but the other day I had 3 police cars drive past me, and 3 of them like were attacking me with whatever it is they're attacking me. So some of them are involved. I'm not saying all of them, but some of them are. So, I've got to be very mindful that what do I say? I haven't got any evidence, and all they keep asking me for is evidence. Although I've been watching some really good crimes today, and they go and get the evidence. So, why is it that some go and get the evidence and some don't? I do believe that there are some good people out there, though, and I do believe there is going to be a change, and people will either move with it or they won't. But divine intervention is here now around the world, isn't it? And I think people just need to accept the way that they've been operating. It's a change, and the first will be last and the last will be first. And most of them should never have been first anyway. They just kept stealing from everyone else. Hence the world was so unbalanced, because there was so much dark, heavy karma that people had cleared. But they don't see that. And now their children are going to suffer for so long. The book of Deuteronomy says, generations upon generations now. But these people, they don't have to believe in scripture, and they don't have to have any faith. Common sense prevails, doesn't it? I'd say common sense prevails. So for me, it's just like, do unto others as you want done to you, and for we do reap what we sow. We do. Whether people see it as bad luck or whatever, if you put out negativity, you're going to get negativity back. And the fact that people are just blocking me from everything and just being petty, that's just basically what they're manifesting. So, and then trying to use a whole network to block me on the network so that I can't have forward movement with the car. I can't have the car unless I pay for it, whereas previously they managed to do it on the finance. So it's just all silly stuff like that. And then like saying on my bank account thing, it was the cash that they said if you wanted cash, you need to pay for a balance or something, or you had to pay for a balance or a cash or something, I don't know. But it actually on this machine it said free withdrawals, and I just was like, here we go again. I get that bored of it, that it just gets to the point where it's just so boring. It really is. Their boredom factor is just so like it's insignificant. So but hey ho, it is what it is. And maybe that a lot of them are now running to churches and trying to get Bibles and stuff. But I don't really think anyone has actually repented and surrendered and sought the Lord of grace. Or no one's come to me anyway, or gone to powers that be. And how many opportunities, how many olive branches can I give people on the channel? The purpose of the channel was to give guidance and share wisdom and help people make a better choice before they actually took a decision. And someone decided that was a good idea. They were going to steal my channel and they were going to replicate the work, but what they didn't do was actually share the message, because they weren't given the message to share. So the message hasn't actually got out in the way it was intended. So those people who got involved in some really nefarious stuff probably could have been saved had someone have not looked at my channel as though it was a cash cow and blocked it. But obviously that's for the spiritual realm and my ancestors and God to judge in it. But that's what I don't understand. There's so many lives that could have been saved if someone had stopped thinking about themselves and their own ego and thought about the masses. Because a great leader doesn't just think about themselves. Hence why I posted about leaders and followers. and ego and intuition. A great leader doesn't just think about themselves. A great leader weighs up the pros and cons of everything. And that's why we don't have great leaders. We have people that work in secret societies where billionaires run the world, or think they do, and call the shots. But isn't it the same as how you get it is how you lose it, and the first will be last and the last will be first? So, and we're seeing that around the world. So I don't really get it, but one for the diary, innit? So a man's just put his boat on the water. The amount of time it's taken him to do that, I think you must have to learn a lot. I suppose you can only do it at certain times when the tide's a certain way though. It's amazing how many people turn up when I'm sitting and I just manage to sneak out, and then they just all turn up from everywhere. Just so they can try and sneak a bit of energy or give me a little bit of an attack. So weird. So weird. Anyway, I'm going to shoot and I'll catch you next one. Bye. There we go. So, see, they hate it when you show them on the road. They turn up everywhere, but they don't like it when you're on camera.